Welcome to Port Canaveral, Florida. In this video, we're doing the Port Canaveral Highlights Tour, and I'm going to show you what it's like. I'm Sarah, and this is my husband, Alan. We work 9 to 5s, but use our vacation time to cruise, visit resorts, check out new cities, camp, and find awesome food and breweries along the way. Stick around for videos on things to do, tours, and helpful travel tips. Port Canaveral is a cruise, naval, and cargo port located in Florida along the coast of the Atlantic Ocean and about 45 minutes east of Orlando. This port provides great access to neighboring Cape Canaveral, which is famous for the Kennedy Space Center, rocket launch complexes, beautiful beaches, wildlife sanctuaries, and is popular with locals and tourists alike. In this video, I'll be sharing our Port Canaveral Highlights Tour booked through Royal Caribbean. And if you want to see what else we got up to on our Royal Caribbean cruise, check out the videos linked in the description below. Our tour leaves at about 2:45 p.m. and we docked around 12:30-ish. They just made an announcement that everyone's able to get off the ship. We're just going to hold back for a little bit, get something to eat, and then we're going to try and make our way down to meet up with our tour and go explore this beautiful port. We just got off the ship and we are now on our way to find our tour. Our card says to meet them in the parking lot, so now we have to go figure out which parking lot they're meeting. So we're on the way. Also, pro tip, if you're getting off the ship, do it after everyone else does, because there was like zero line. We walked right off. Perfect.
That was really nice.
Another fun fact is that we actually have a cruise booked for February that departs from Port Canaveral, so we'll be departing from a similar terminal, but we're not sailing with Royal. We are going with Norwegian. Depending on the port, sometimes it's pretty quick to get off the ship, and other times you have to go down a lot of ramps, tunnels, and escalators to make your way out. That was the case for this terminal, so be sure to leave yourself enough time to get off the ship if you're meeting a tour. There was good signage when you got out of the terminal, so you knew where to go. There was a sign that said all excursions booked through the ship this way, so that's where we're headed now. And on the way there were also a whole bunch of public restrooms if you needed them after you got off the ship. It can be a bit chaotic when you're looking for your excursion, but in this case it was pretty calm since most had already departed. In our case, we found some benches and just waited until we were called to board the coach. We got off the ship and we are about 20 minutes early for our excursion. We are going on the Port Canaveral Highlights. It's about 3 hours from what I read, and it hits some of the highlights of Port Canaveral. There's a bunch of people hanging out here, and I think the majority of them are waiting for this tour because it is departing quite a bit after the other ones. I think some of them departed closer to 12:30 or 1, which made it super easy for us to get off the ship because so many people had already departed. There was absolutely no lines, which was wonderful. So now we're just waiting and we'll be heading off on our excursion shortly. Just a short drive or walk from the Royal Caribbean Terminal are a bunch of seafood restaurants if you wanted to get off the ship for some fresh seafood or to look around. Our first stop was at Wild Ocean Seafood Market, where we learned about shrimp and other fishing and also got to tour the premises on a guided tour.
Every shrimp got a different size. You might have a 22, 25. That means to say 22 to 25 shrimp in a pound. That would be the size of the shrimp, 22, 25. Then you might get a 9, 12. That means to say a 9 to 12 shrimp in a pound. So they got to check like every 5 bags. Most likely on the boat, they grade it on the boat. So when you cut it, you're just making sure that what they grade on the boat is what the captain said it is. So what they do, they take this, they put a handful in it, then they cut it in 3 shrimp at a time, and put it 3 pounds. So 3 pounds, and they come in 3 shrimp at a time. Whatever shrimp they get, they write it on this paper here. They got the pallet number, the amount of sacks will be 30 sacks, the weight of, the total weight of the thing, then the weight of the pallet. Then here they tell you, they put head on whites, head on browns, pink shrimp or whatever. Then here the count, like a 9, 12, 20, 25 or what.
We just learned all about fishing for shrimp and other fish here in Florida, and we even got a private backroom tour to see the freezer where they keep them in, and also where they make their thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of ice. After the tour, we ended up in the front of the market where we saw the different types of fresh fish and seafood they had for sale and got to sample a pink shrimp and a rock shrimp. Alright, as part of the tour, we get to try some fresh shrimp. So here is a rock shrimp, and they tell us that it tastes more like lobster. And then there's also a white shrimp in here that we get to sample as well. The rock shrimp has a very hard shell, so it's a little bit hard to get into. So you're gonna watch me live struggle here. I don't even know how to do this. They didn't show us this part. Do we just bite it? That definitely tastes more like lobster than shrimp. Okay, I'm gonna finish that after. And then the second one, just a regular standard shrimp. Very fresh. And across from the market, there was a rocket that had just come back from a recent launch through SpaceX. So that was pretty cool to see in person. Alright, we just had our samples, and when I say we, I mean me, because Alan did not want to try it because he's not a fan of seafood or fish, but I did, and I really enjoyed it. I think the rock shrimp was my favorite, and now we're just waiting for people to finish up. We have our complimentary non-alcoholic beverages here, and people are in the gift shop right now. Plus, you can also ship anywhere in the continental US if you want some fresh seafood. Sadly, we can't be shipping any home to Canada. Then we boarded the coach and went on to our next destination, which was the Sand Space History Center. And on our way inside, we passed by the launch ops building for SpaceX, which is owned by Elon Musk. Our next stop was at the Sand Space History Center, and it was a super informative stop. We got to hear from someone who's 96 years old and has personal experience working on some of these rocket launches over the last 60 years that he has worked in this area. So it's a very cool spot. You can learn more about the launch pads. They've got artifacts here, so I definitely recommend adding this to your list if you're in the area. Around the perimeter of the room, they also have posters on the wall that talk about each of the launch complex, and they list a few fun facts about it and some more history so that you can learn as you're touring around the room. And if you wanted to get any souvenirs, they have a cute little gift shop located here in the back. Then we boarded the bus again to head to our final location of the tour, Jetty Park. Jetty Park is open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, and parking is available with a pre-purchased pass or an annual pass. No cash or credit transactions can take place at the entrance gate. The park is a large space with a pier, campground, and a beautiful beach. Alright, our third and final stop of this tour is at Jetty Park, and as you can see, it's a tad bit windy here. We are down by the waterfront area, and they have a beautiful pier that overlooks the water, and you can sometimes see tarpon or dolphins here, to name a few. And then there's also a beach area that we're headed to now. So if you are coming to this beach, they do usually have lifeguards here, and the sand is really nice and soft, so it'd be a perfect beach to spend a day at, just enjoying the water. It is very windy today. I'm not sure if these are normal conditions or not, or if it sometimes is a little bit more calm, but I still think it would be really nice to come and spend some time here at this beach. And just over across the parking lot, they actually have a trailer park or a campground, so you can come and camp here and have amazing water views. They said that it was booked up already for January, February, and March, and the time of our visit right now is late October. So that's pretty booked out ahead. I would love to come camping here with our little trailer.
That'd be a lot of fun.
What say you?
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. We're gonna take the boardwalk back because walking on the sand is a little tricky. Something I always like to highlight as well are where there are public restrooms, and at Jetty Park here they do have public restrooms available, so if you're coming to the beach and need to change or just use the restroom, you can do that here. Alright, now that I'm a camper officially, I love going to check out other parks and see how people have their campers set up and all of that kind of stuff, and you gotta check this out. They're looking over the channel here, so they've got some really nice views here. So from what I can see here, the sites have very little to no privacy, but that's something I would be willing to trade in to have these beautiful water views. Alright, now it's time for me to let you know my overall thoughts of this tour. It's a very short tour, it's only about 3 hours and it takes you on 3 stops. I don't think that you actually need to do this tour to get to these areas. You could probably do it on your own and maybe even have a little bit more time in each of these areas to actually spend your time here. It's a lot of getting on and off a bus because we were on a large coach. Our tour guide was actually very knowledgeable, so I think I got a lot of value out of him being our tour guide and understanding more about this area and the history. And my favorite stop was probably the museum, where we got to learn more about space and rockets, and we had a very interesting guide there who gave us more information about that. So I really enjoyed that. Capping it off with a trip to the beach was really nice for scenery, but we didn't really have enough time to go swimming or do anything like that, so it was really just a stop to get out, stretch your legs, and look at the beautiful scenery. Overall, I enjoyed it. I liked learning about the area, but I don't think that you actually need to do this tour through the ship. And then we made our short drive back to the terminal, went through security, and made the long walk through the terminal back onto the ship. I hope you enjoyed seeing around Port Canaveral and that this video can be helpful if you're planning a trip here in the future. And as always, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Well, we are at our second port stop and it's not what we were planning. We weren't able to go to the perfect day at Coco Cay because of weather, so it was not going to be perfect. Stick around to see what we got up to in a port we had no plans to visit. Walking and sweating. We don't even really know where we are.